perfect.
It makes me feel like I'm safe and peaceful where I am.
It's quieter than usual.
It's like, it's nice to smell the air.
Fresh air, acres of open land, and a restored stream. Students from Lily Mae Carroll Jackson Charter School in Baltimore City got to experience a day on the King's Eye trustee and property owned by Mike Hankin.
The reason why we wanted to call it the environment at King's Eye is right away we wanted people to focus on this is a special place that is outdoors. If you were to look at this spot from an airplane, it looks like a big hole or an eye in the middle of some tremendous forest around it.
Mike is president and CEO of Brown Advisory, so he works in the city, but he and his wife Ann raised their children on an adjacent farm to King's Eye in Reisterstown. When the opportunity came up to buy about 130 acres of land, he ran with it and worked on restoring the Piney Run stream to benefit the rest of us by doing research and educating our next generation.
We sat by each other quite often in meetings, and it was amazing to hear his interest in really connecting kids to nature and how much he really cared about making sure that kids in underserved communities and in urban communities had a chance to really appreciate the environment.
Dr. Mamie Parker, former Chief of Staff and Head of Fisheries at U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, is now the Program Director of the Environment at King's Eye.
When they come, they all want to come back, and we want them to tell the story to others in the community.
A story about how they can do their part to slow down and be in nature and conserve what's around them.
The stream itself was highly unstable. Banks were vertical and actively eroding. It had a lot of issues.
Jim Morris is an ecologist at Watershed Environmental who worked on the Piney Run stream restoration in 2022 after Maryland's Department of Natural Resources provided the majority of the funding through the Chesapeake and Atlantic Coastal Bays Trust Fund. And Baltimore County Department of Environmental Protection and Sustainability provided a substantial amount to the Land Preservation Trust to design the restoration project.
A lot of the banks were this high and just straight down and actively eroding. Every time there was a storm, tons and tons of soil was leaving, and heading down to the bay. This is where we used wood to stabilize this bank. So the outside bend of a stream like this, especially at high flows during storms, there's a lot of energy that's pushed up against that bank, and that wood protects it from becoming unstable. This is called a point bar. It's on the inside of a bend in the stream, and it's a place during storm events that material can accumulate.
The before and after pictures are impressive.
So it was a huge project.
As Brianna Amingwa, the founder of Deeply Rooted Outdoor Education, shows to the students.
Do you think it took a lot of time? Do you think it took a lot of money?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is why they did this, was to improve the stream for people and for animals.
Ranger Bree tells them wildlife returns with restoration projects like this one at King's Eye. Speaking of restored, check out the barn on the property. From this run-down structure to what's now a warm and welcoming space.
Help me say a huge thank you to Mr.
Right.
Mike. Can you say thank you?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank him even more by engaging today with the frame of getting smart to do good.
Partners like the Land Preservation Trust, the Department of Natural Resources, among others, are making this dream come true. DNR helps students learn about the values of trees and get their hands dirty by planting a tree.
Does anyone want to help me dig?
Gloves are on and they dig it.
This is something they might not have done or have had the opportunity to before, and now they have. And so it's just another piece that helps you get a little bit further with a new skill. We want to get dirt all the way around the tree.
Next up, a tractor ride around the property.
After the restoration was done in the spring of 2023, they planted 7,000 trees through the whole 4,800 feet of restored area.
I see a lot of buildings and I'll see a lot of trash and stuff. But compared to here, I see a lot of nature.
I'm hoping today is kind of like a spark for the students, that they're able to take this time in this space and what they felt and what they experienced and try to have that same experience somewhere else, even where they live, right? Nature isn't just out here in this like huge avenue and huge venue of like at King's Eye. It's also right where we live, outside of our doors.
The benefit of bees is a buzz. The girls suited up and got close to the honey makers before getting a chance to sample some honey.
So that's their whole, they're trying to go forage for nectar in the spring, and their whole goal is to save up as much honey as they can, because that's what they use to survive over the winter.
I think it's important for students in this community to see this so they know what nature looked like once, what it looks like without concrete, what it looks like without buildings everywhere, and where you can have both, where you can have nature coexist with people and development too.
I want people to come here and say, this is not a casual thing. You don't end up with land that's conserved, with streams that are restored, without a lot of work. And if we can inspire other people to do things, that would be fantastic.
And when the day was over, each student wrote about her experience. Madison Gardner delivered a poem.
Today was a glimpse in the water's sparkly reflection, a peaceful trade with nature, a trade of time for beauty, a shiny reflection on the water's refreshingly cold bay, a wonderful, peaceful moment.
Madison is just one reason why the Environment at King's Eye team wants to reach more schools, grow the environmental education program, and have organizations use the property to dream and grow.